Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland, where I have a weekly show where I have a guest on, and we get to know a little bit more about them and take a dive into their perspective on movies. And this man has been on my YouTube channel more than anybody else. So my very, very, very good friend, one of my longest friends, Matt here, who has done yearly top 10 videos with me, which hopefully 2021 is a little bit different and you've actually seen 10 movies in 2021 and we could do a top 10 video. And we were originally going to start a show together and got 2 episodes in, and then COVID happened. And now we got Development Hell podcast, and you're on now for a second round on Lost in the Wasteland.
Yeah, like I was like one of the first, like I said, top 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I remember like when you first started your podcast, and then I just keep growing and growing, and then I remember you messaged me and said, hey, so like I get screeners now.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I just finished one.
You got more screeners with different production, or not production, but well, you don't reach out to production companies. Who do you reach out to?
They're either PR firms or distribution companies, the distributors. But yeah, I just screened The Birthday Cake, which is a mob crime thriller.
Oh, cool.
I'd give it a strong B. It's like, it's still a little shaky. It's a low budget. It's you could tell might be this person's first feature film, but boy, did it have an impact. So, and also Paul Sorvino's in it, and one of the guys from The Sopranos. So, it's real Italian.
Should I watch that show?
I would say so. I think it's a really good show. You should talk to Vinny about it. He watched the whole thing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, how much has Vinny? Has Vinny done one of these?
He has. Well, he did the first round. Hasn't been on for the second round though. So I'm sure I'll be asking him shortly, because next week I got Paige coming on for her second round, and I hope to have Alex, our other co-host, for the Development Hell podcast. But Matt, before I jump in asking you questions, is there anything in particular that you'd like to shamelessly plug?
Shamelessly plug. Let's go. I gotta start making my own content instead of like recommending other people's stuff. But eventually, but until then, let's see. Definitely highly recommend Bo Burnham's Inside. I highly recommend the book. Do I have it behind me? I do. Imaginary Friend by the writer of The Perks of Being a Wallflower and the director of that movie.
Yes.
And
don't be modest, Matt. You should all check out Matt's Instagram page.
And you guys should check out my Instagram page.
All of his new piano music.
If you want to hear someone that has only been playing for a year pretend like he's been playing for 30, yes.
First Floor Noise, right?
Yeah, First Floor Noise.
So you should all go follow First Floor Noise on Instagram and listen to Matt. And
hilarious.
Eventually, the plan is to have Matt do a new theme song for my channel. So we'll see that at some point. So stay tuned. But Matt, are you ready for our questions for this episode?
Yes. Hit me.
So, what is a previously released film you have never seen that you were most excited to check out?
All right. So it's funny because you've always said that these 2 movies are fantastic. And a YouTuber that I watch also said it's fantastic recently, but you've been telling me to watch the first one for forever, and then the second one came out. And you said it's also like fantastic, and apparently everybody in the whole world loves it. So I guess I should watch Paddington and Paddington 2
Yes.
finally. So I got the DVDs. They're somewhere behind me, but yeah. Is it like he likes? Not he doesn't like honey. What does he like?
Marmalade, Matt. Marmalade.
Marmalade. Yeah.
Got both Paddingtons right here.
Boom. I got a DVD. One DVD. Where? Paddington. Paddington. I got one DVD. Okay, yeah. All right, so I got this DVD,
Nice.
and then I ordered the second one because I wanted this to watch, and then it came in one of these.
Boo.
I'm like, question mark Amazon, and that's maybe. I guess I shouldn't. I guess that's the peril of buying something used, right? You don't know what
Yeah.
packaging are coming in, but
That's
yeah, I should watch these
why.
movies.
So that's why when I buy, if I need to like bump up my cart on Criterion Collection website, they sell blank DVD cases.
Oh,
And they're nice quality ones, the ones that the Criterion Collection movies come in. So if you ever need like extra bit of bump up to get free shipping, just throw in some cases. Life hack for all of you out there. But yes, I love Paddington. I love Paddington 2. And for a short time, it was the greatest film of all time at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then some heartless monster had to ruin it. Heartless. Phoenix Buchanan, one of the greatest, most hilarious, and charming villains in the history of cinema. Thank you, Hugh Grant.
did you see somebody made? I think someone dug up some kind of like negative review for Citizen Kane and put it on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, that's how Paddington became the highest rated film on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, the internet. Oh, the internet. Now, Matt, what is an upcoming film that you're most excited about?
Okay, I mean, there's only one correct answer, and it's The Matrix 4.
Okay.
It's only one correct answer. Like, if you're not excited, if you weren't born, I don't even know how to finish. I don't even know how to finish the thought. It's just, you have to watch Matrix 4. Even if it's terrible, you have to watch it. But it's going to be fantastic.
Is it bad that that's not the most anticipated movie I have starring Keanu Reeves?
What's your most anticipated?
Starring Keanu Reeves is John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
But yes, I am very interested to see what they do with The Matrix 4. I feel like between that and Dune at the end of this year for Warner Brothers, things are going to get weird, Matt. Very weird.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird, and but good weird, not cinema sins weird.
Not let's rip off a fight from Dragon Ball Z for the final battle in my Matrix movie.
Boom.
Or I guess they did it before Avatar did it. Giant mech suit people. So
has gotten a lot meaner since Reload or Revolutions came out. So yeah.
Well, who could forget ethnically diverse cave dance party?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
While the two white people are doing it in another cave.
Well, I can forget it because the first time that I saw it, my mom, I don't know, why she hadn't seen the first one because she's not into sci-fi. I guess I said, "Literally, this is my view." Oh, thank you, Mom. It literally just like, okay.
It's like, no, thank you. You cannot see this child. But I am very interested to see what they wind up doing because it's the Wachowskis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the siblings, yeah.
So, like, Jupiter Ascending, and I like Cloud Atlas, I think, a lot more than most people do. But like I'm I'm very interested to see if they can bounce back and bring the Matrix like back to the quality of the first one, because like movie's amazing. They tried too hard with the second and the third one.
They did, but I will say that. So number one, The Matrix was my first rated R movie ever, so it'll always have like a special kind of thing. And then when I first saw The Matrix, I saw things in that movie that I had never seen before. I wasn't even into like kung fu movies back then, really, and
Whoa, I know kung fu.
exactly like that scene when Morpheus and Neo are fighting in that dojo, fantastic. Or even in Reloaded, there's so many clips, even in the second and third movie, where you can just like go on YouTube and type in Matrix Reloaded scene and then insert whatever awesome scene. Even if maybe there might be some ripping off in the third,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Hey,
Still fantastic.
the playground fight with the bunch of Agent Smiths was cool until they turned into a bunch of ragdolls.
Yeah, then you have to just squint. You have to squint. And Rubber
Like,
Neo.
oh, this looks okay.
Yeah, Rubber Neo.
And that highway chase in Reloaded is pretty cool as well. But so now, Matt, we're going to put you in the seat of remaking a movie. What film would you wish to be remade?
Oh, It Chapter 2. I want that to be Eternal Sunshine taken away from my memory, and then I want that to be just released over again. I have the original TV special, whatever movie thing,
Yeah.
and I have the first chapter one. I do not have chapter two. I will never watch chapter two again because that was very different.
You, you won't even watch it for the hater.
No, no. Shane was so bad. Somebody got like when I see a zombie vomit tar on someone's face, when I don't even feel like listening. It's just bad. It's just bad. It's bad. There was a corpse like driving around in a car. That's not scary. Not
I,
scary.
I thought Bill Hader was great. I still feel like they wasted a lot of talent. Like James
McAvoy is always
McAvoy felt
awesome.
wasted. Jessica Chastain especially felt wasted.
It's probably just like a couple of them even wanted to do this. It doesn't really seem like the picture that they would be interested in at all.
And I wish they did not cut back to the kids, like at all,
Mm.
in the second one, because they had to do so much bad CGI and audio edits
Mm.
because they went through puberty. Like, uh,
I hated
not
the
great.
fact that like this I could even take that, but like this the structure of the movie just it was super lacking. Like there a whole chunk, a whole middle part of the movie, it's almost kind of it's like a video game, you know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, you get that thing, and then you get that thing, and then like a tiny little side mission, and then everybody regroups. But it's like that's like a giant chunk of the movie, and
Well, and
everything. Yeah,
I think that was disappointing too, because like people wanted them to like spend time with each other.
spend time with each other, and also it was hard to kind of like gauge like, so what are the stakes exactly? Is this a like are what we watching is what we're watching right now is like a some kind of like illusion, or is this real? Are they should they actually be scared? Is this giant lumberjack actually going to hurt you? Like that one scene in the trailer, I will say this the trailer for chapter two, fantastic. So it's that extended like part with the old lady, the one that's doing that little Fortnite dance in the doorway, naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, I don't know. A lot of potential. A lot of potential.
There's definitely some moments in it, but I could definitely understand your feelings about hoping that it would be remade. Now, Matt, what's your fondest memory of going to see a movie in a theater?
Um, I'll go. I'll go watching Endgame. So it was the theater was packed, which
Mhm.
is a sentence that people haven't really said in a whole year. But the theater was packed. I was in the front, the very front row, and the only thing that made that experience good is that it was one of the theaters where you get to like lean back. You know what I mean? Like the
Okay.
mechanical seats. So then that was interesting. I was sitting next to like this little girl and her father, and then a friend of mine on my left. And I was thinking, man, I really hope these people don't talk because everyone was talking and there's people behind me. There was literally no more seats. I mean, it was assigned anyway, but and then when the movie starts, it was such an interesting experience because you definitely could tell that like you were surrounded by fans. Um, and not only were you surrounded by fans, but you're surrounded by people that it's like this unspoken like excitement and tension because the way the last movie ended, and you're like, well, okay, like how are they gonna? They have to win, so how are they gonna do it?
You
And
mean
then even when
decapitating Thanos within the first like 10 minutes of the movie?
exactly, and then it's like, okay, so like what's next? Because I was nervous. You know what I was thinking? I thought there was gonna be some random other villain that was gonna pop up, kind of
Yep.
like a. I mean, that didn't come out yet, but like, what was that movie? The Rise of Skywalker. Was it, so you're not the bad guy. Oh, so he's your bot. Like I thought something stupid like that was gonna happen.
You thought
That
the
didn't.
Emperor was going to pop up?
Exactly. You ever see that? You ever see that scene in Parks and Rec with the Patton Oswalt? He's just
The
like this nigga.
filibuster?
Yeah.
And then the Millennium Falcon being flown by Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Oh man, that would have been terrible. But no. Then I teared up. I teared up at the end when he's dancing when Cap is dancing with his with I guess
Oh, I'm getting chills. Uh,
it was
I
that.
also I also teared up when he had his dance with Peggy.
Heck, there we go. Um, I teared up a bit when Ant-Man, like what was his name, Scott, when he sees his daughter for the first time and he
Right?
hugs her and then he kind of like pushes her away just a little bit just to get a good look at her and then hugs her again. That was acting.
Yep.
I feel like I'm missing one other scene that was really impactful, but
Was it
it,
Tony?
Tony, yeah, Tony. I
Oh,
mean, I felt sad. Yeah,
the
yeah, that was
cheeseburger thing.
yeah,
When
yeah.
Morgan's like, I want a cheeseburger, and Happy's just like, your dad loved cheeseburgers. I'm like, no. How dare you, Marvel? Don't do this to me.
That was that movie was fantastic. That movie was actually. Why haven't I bought the DVD? Sorry, I need to make a note of that.
I have Steelbook 4K of Endgame. It's purdy.
Excellent.
On the front, you have the survivors, and on the back, those who got blipped.
Mm,
It's
you also got the was that from Endgame? You used to have that poster of the Infinity Gauntlet. Was that from
yes.
Endgame or was that from something else?
Yeah, that's from Endgame. I have it in my closet, hanging in my closet.
Yeah, because AMC was giving everybody posters.
Yeah, when they conned us all into going to see it again and told us they would give us like 6 extra minutes.
Yeah, whatever happened with that? What happened with that again? I forgot.
There was a
I forget.
deleted scene with Carl Winslow
Carl Winslow.
from Family Matters where Smart Hulk originally got introduced, like saving people from a fire. but the CGI wasn't done. And then it was like a sizzle reel. I'm just like, oh well, I got to watch Endgame for a third time in theaters. That's the most I've ever seen a movie in theaters is Endgame 3 times. Because Matt, I don't watch movies multiple times in theaters because like
Mhm.
I watch so much other shit in theaters.
The evidence is literally behind you.
Yeah. Like Endgame's a 3-hour movie, and there's definitely 25 minutes of trailers. So like
Mhm.
that's an investment of time. I could have seen 2 other movies, but
Mhm.
it was worth it. And oh, I lost it when Cap grabbed Mjolnir. I'm just like,
And
oh,
then
and another badass move
assemble.
when Thor was standing there with his hoodie, like staring down at Thanos, and like Tony's like, "What are we gonna do?" And Thor's like, "We'll kill him proper this time." And he like pulls in both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, and like the lightning shoots down, and he has like automatic braided beard and this battle armor. I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, that there were so many awesome moments in that scene. I remember when like there was so much fan speculation of, wait, so are they gonna go back in time? Like, are they gonna go to the other movie? Are we gonna see that? And then when you actually finally saw it, it was awesome because like this is one of the rare moments where like what people were saying on the internet actually happened.
Yeah.
So so I mean like rest in peace all of the fan speculation for what was that, WandaVision? Like people got
Nobody promised you Mephisto, and they've already started it with the first episode of Loki.
oh, people are starting to get mad and starting to like theorize.
Well, people are theorizing Mephisto's going to be in it.
Well, and when they're not, then they're gonna get angry and go around tomatoes and
Yes, the director already came out and said what people thought was a hint towards Mephisto is a hint towards something else specifically. And I'm like, people. Now, Matt, what is a film that really exceeded your expectations?
um so it was really hard for me to come up with a movie that did that. So I'm just gonna say a movie that I saw a long time ago, and then I saw I think sometime last year, and I was like, wait, that was really good. It's a movie called Underworld, Kate Beckinsale. That movie's really good. I mean, I can't argue giant portions of it because giant portions of it is cheese. But oh man, like leather trench coat, like gun kung fu.
It's
Someone
Gun
she literally
Fu.
takes a gun, pointed at the ground, which was actually disproven by MythBusters. Which I don't. Do you remember MythBusters? You remember MythBusters, right? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I distinctly remember the episode where they tested if you jump in a body of water, will it save you from being shot?
Oh, busted or confirmed?
It depends on the caliber
Makes
of the
sense.
round. Apparently, the more powerful the gun, the safer you are by jumping into water. Because the impact, so like they did like a shotgun and it did not penetrate the water because of the surface tension. And the force of the shells just like exploded on the surface.
Um, do you remember probably one of the coolest scenes in the newest John Wick movie when they're like wrestling underwater and the person keeps shooting and the gun is almost kind of is like the bullet comes out and just kind of just go
Yeah.
like that. Fantastic. But that scene where she even in the trailer for Underworld, she takes her guns because there's werewolves coming at her and she's a vampire and they hate each other and she um starts kind of like spinning in a circle, like walking in a circle, and then shooting under her to make like a I guess like some kind of like hole or platform or something, and then she falls through it, but then she lands on her feet. Fantastic. Shane, you should watch that movie.
I've seen Underworld.
Oh, okay, good.
Like
Okay.
Underworld, Van Helsing, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that was all like very much early 2000s. and Kate Beckinsale, so hot right now. Kate Beckinsale.
Mm-hmm.
Between Van Helsing and Underworld. Yep.
Van Helsing was okay. Extraordinary Gentleman was not okay, but Underworld was awesome.
You know what's funny? I rewatched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and there's so much potential there, but there's also so many things in it that were complete crap. Like
Mm-hmm.
Shane West as Tom Sawyer. Like, why you in this movie?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
like, nothing against Stuart Townsend. I don't think he's a particularly interesting actor, but boy, did Sean Connery come to play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he died in the well, spoiler, sorry. But yeah,
Or did he?
yeah, there we go. Dun, dun, dun.
One wonderful sequel bait at the end of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This is what it was like growing up in the early 2000s with genre films. They had a very similar vibe, dark and creepy, throwing Blade on top of
Mhm.
that, all that kind of stuff.
Everyone had a trench coat. Everyone, because the Matrix.
Yes, indeed. Now, Matt, if you could adapt any written work as a film, what would it be?
Okay, so I mean, this isn't so much like the most like most like fantastical thing, but I really like probably my top. That's probably my favorite book. Right next to A Clockwork Orange is A Catcher in the Rye,
Okay.
and there's just something really. I really wish that I read it as a teenager because I really wish teenager Matthew had a reaction to Catcher in the Rye. I read it when I was in college, and it was just funny and relatable and weird and like nonsensical, but also realistic. So I guess like surreal. Like I don't know. It's like we're following a character who is sarcastic and sounds like this person talks and thinks like you wish that you could talk and think out loud as. And it's just a really interesting character. I think the author J.D. Salinger, I think that's his name.
Yes.
I think he said he doesn't want any of his works to be put into film or something like that. So that sucks. But
Well, they put J.D. Salinger in BoJack Horseman.
oh yeah, they did, right?
Alan Arkin. Yes, my name. Yes, I am J.D. Salinger.
Yeah.
And then he produces a game show. What do celebrities know? Do they know things? Let's find out.
Mm,
So I have to ask now, Matt, who is your lead? Who you casting in this
ooh,
adaptation?
that's interesting. Hmm. That's a really interesting question. So it's about a teenager. Um,
So Andrew Garfield.
exactly. Just give him a skateboard. He'll totally not look like he's in his 30s.
Hello, fellow kids
Yeah, Steve Buscemi with like a backwards hat.
from 30 Rock. Yeah.
Oh man. I have to think about that. I have to think about that. There's another book called Winger, which it's somewhere over there. It's another book. It's basically Catcher in the Rye, except for today, and it has a really good sequel too called I think it's like Stand Off. Yeah, Stand Off. But yeah, Winger is also really good. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really know a lot of young actors. This is interesting. I don't know who's like a really cool young. Oh, maybe. I mean, I feel like we're being oversaturated, but maybe Timothy Chalamet. Maybe.
That's exactly who popped in my head too.
Maybe Timothy Chalamet.
He's
If he can still do high school, he did high school well in Lady Person. Maybe he can do it again.
well, he's growing up a bit. He looks a little bit more grown up and he had that Netflix movie The King, I think it was.
Is that good?
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. And now he has Dune. So, but we can still put him in high school. There you go, Timothy Chalamet. Giving
I
you
don't
all the
believe
best.
in currency. That's my favorite line in Lady Bird. I don't believe in currency. It's like, what do you just shut up?
I'm so cool. Now, Matt, what is your favorite movie trailer?
Oh, definitely Pulp Fiction. It has to be Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, so Matt, we already had an episode, so shamelessly plugging our episode on Development Hell podcast about our favorite movie trailers. But yes,
That movie trailer. I mean, it benefits you if you, and I guess to watching the movie too. Watching a lot of Tarantino, all of Tarantino's movies, it benefits if you have like a good foundation of watching movies because the trailer, it the first part of it, it starts off kind of joking and poking fun at, I guess, like artsy movies and kind of like, oh, like those are the those are the movies that win awards. So there's not gonna be it's not gonna be any violence or guns or people. And then like through the title card you see like bullet and then it's just there's like two different songs pop up in the same trailer. And then like it
because
switches to Jungle Boogie and then yeah.
Meeserloo,
Yeah,
Bite
yeah,
the
yeah.
Tail. Ha,
Fantastic.
ha, ha. Ding, ding,
Such a
ding.
great such a great movie.
Oh, it works so well. I remember, so I had never seen that trailer before we did our Development Hell podcast episode. So I went and watched it. I'm like, dang, this trailer's great. It's like from Academy Award winning, yada yada yada, and then all of a sudden it's like shooting through the screen.
So good. So good.
Now, Matt, what is your favorite use of a song in a movie?
Right, so this was really hard for me. So I was really trying to think of movies that like I had to that I was like in theaters and I was like, I wish my phone was on so I could Shazam the song. This was awesome. Um, but so I'll just go with one movie that I saw sort of recently, Boogie Nights, and then one movie that I saw a long time ago, but I always go back to the song. I like it. So Boogie Nights has a fantastic soundtrack. Like this hit after hit, even the songs that you've never even heard of that on the radio, like they sound really awesome.
Yeah,
My favorite song is a song called "Fool Around and Fell in Love" by
Elvin
Elvin
Bishop.
Bishop. Yeah, fool around,
That's
fool
also in
around.
Guardians, the first one.
Nice. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a song that Peter has on like the headphones and shares with Gamora, where they have their
Uh,
like first moment.
mm,
Yes, Fool Around and Fell in Love's great. Sister Christian. That
Sister
scene is
Kristen.
intense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That movie is not only long, but it's intense. Yeah,
Burt Reynolds.
yeah. Like it would be hard for me to recommend it to anyone because wow, like William H Macy's character and how that character, what that character decides to do.
That is the turning point of the film. From then
Yeah,
on, it is a completely different movie. Thanks, 1980.
yeah. It was in it's like 19 because I think it's broken up into 1970s and then 19. It's this like that turn, and it's
Yep.
like oh, the dream is over. Like things
Yep.
aren't fun anymore.
What was your other one?
Um, the other one was Stuck in the Middle with You by Steelers Wheel. Uh, I don't know why, but when I first saw that movie, I'd seen people make jokes about that movie all the time, just about that scene, and
Can
then they used
you
that
hear me?
song, and I was like, okay. And then when you finally see the scene, and it's like, oh, and that scene is like longer than it's a long scene,
He
and then you
strolls
see that
outside to the which Bob's Burgers has one of the best parodies ever. Like it's one of my favorite parodies of that particular scene. And it's a Wet Willie.
oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Oh man. But that Tarantino comes out with a bang because that little green bag, the song
Bong,
playing when they're
bong,
all
bong,
walking
bong,
out.
bong, 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 bong. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm listening
Yep.
to that later.
When they're walking slow motion all together and like that's the credits coming up. Great.
Hmm.
Basically any Tarantino movie. Like I listen to so many songs from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on a regular basis. Brother Loves Traveling. Um, what Brother Loves Traveling Salvation Band or something like that. Um, I listen to that. It's a Neil Simon song. It's the doom doom doom. It was in one of the trailers, and then Kicks by Paul Revere and the Raiders. There's just so many great songs from that. I'm like, people are like, uh, Sweet Caroline. No, best Neil Diamond is Brother Loves Traveling Salvation Show.
Mm.
So many great songs, and like even like with Django, that John Legend song that's in it, and
I love that song. I love that song so much. It's Who Did That to You? I love that song. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then even like Jim Croce, I've Got a Name.
Mm.
Um, and even in Glorious Bastards, like Cat People by David Bowie. The
What part is that? I
when
can't
she's
remember.
putting on her makeup, getting ready
Oh,
for the big night. And then he samples a couple of Ennio Morricone scores in it, which
ooh, I have a song for you actually. So
mhm.
I still haven't seen it, but um, uh, a friend of mine told me, "Have you ever seen Death Proof?" And I was like, "I haven't. I've heard. I've always heard it was a good
Oh,
one."
Down in Mexico.
No, it's a different song. It's called Chick Habit.
Hmm.
You got to check out that. I still haven't watched it yet. I would you recommend it?
What Death
I
Proof?
yeah, I've always was like, I don't really feel like
I had
it. I
some
still like.
fun with it. Like Kurt Russell's a lot of fun. The second half of it's a lot better when Kurt Russell's there um and Rosario Dawson and Zoe Bell. Like it gets a lot. I like it a lot more in the second half, but there is a point where they do like a lap dance for Kurt Russell's character Stuntman Mike to "Down in Mexico" by the Coasters. Awesome song. So, but Kurt Russell's great in it. It's just like he's giving this girl a ride home, and he's like, "So, what way are we going?" And she's like, "Oh, right. You see, if you would have said left, it would have taken a little while before you started wondering if something was up. But because you said right, you better get scared right away." And he just like whips it out of the parking lot like a madman. Like Kurt Russell's great in it. And of course, oh, they have Eli Roth in it. And to be honest, like I'm not a huge fan of him. Like I think he's funny and goofy and Inglorious Bastards. And then Tarantino has a pretty consistent presence in one of the scenes in it. And like, stop putting yourself in your own movies. Somebody poisoned the coffee. Also,
Ah.
um the soundtrack for Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 are great. Um
Ooh,
Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood by Santa Esmeralda. Amazing. The song when she's about to fight Lucy Liu's character.
oh yeah.
And
Oh,
then
Ren.
of course the and then
Ooh,
of course like start to finish the Jackie Brown soundtrack.
oh yes. There's an awesome song in the Jackie Brown soundtrack called I think it's like Strawberry Letter 23 or something like that. It is I love that song. And then with Kill Bill, there's a song called I think it's like Frank Sinatra's daughter
Nancy
called
Sinatra. Yep.
Nancy, and then
Bang
Bang
bang.
Bang. You
Yes.
shot me down, bang
Bang
bang.
bang.
Yeah.
Yep. So basically, watch any Tarantino movie and you'll find some great songs. Except for I know there's like one song in The Hateful Eight, but the rest of it's like you're listening to Ennio Morricone, which wonderful segue. So Matt, what is your go-to score? If you like you're listening to music and you want to throw on a score, what's that score that you're gonna throw on?
Okay, so I narrowed it down to two. So the famous like the main theme in Requiem for a Dream.
Yes.
That is, you can't get more epic than that unless you go Inception. And then Harry Potter is pretty cool too. But Inception, especially there's this one, I get they all kind of sound a little similar, but there's this one piece of music, I guess a track that plays the moment that that when you see like the spinning top and it kind of is like moves a little bit
Yeah.
and then it cuts to black. The song is called The Dream is Collapsing.
Yes.
Fantastic. Both of those, but then Harry Potter again is great too because
Mhm.
I don't know, this is great. The Hans Zimmer, I think. Who was that?
Hans
Danielle?
Zimmer did Inception, yeah. Which also, speaking of which, so I rewatched, oh God, this is months ago now, but rewatched Dead Man's Chest.
Mm.
And the music in the Pirates movies are so amazing. There, Davy Jones theme with the organ playing, fantastic. And then the Kraken theme is so bombastic and intense. And then it's funny because I rewatched At World's End last night. And
Mm.
the when they have their like parlay with Cutler Beckett, Davy Jones, and Will Turner, and then on the other side it's Keira Knightley's character and Barbosa, and they have while they're having like this standoff, it sounds like super Ennio Morricone spaghetti western, like straight out of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly,
Mm.
with like this guitar, and it's so great. And it's so funny because then Gore Verbinski and Hans Zimmer did Rango together.
Rango.
And Rango's score is so great. Rango was so much better than that movie just ever had any right to be. So weird, but I spend a lot of time listening
Johnny
to
Depp.
scores, but
I miss you, Johnny Depp, so much. Please come back and stay away from Fantastic Beasts when you make your comeback, please. That was never a thing. That was never awesome.
Matt, they
Either
already recast him.
say what?
They recast him.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the Hannibal guy,
Mads Mikkelsen.
Matt
Yeah.
Nicholson. Yeah, yeah. I mean, but I like him too. So, and I don't want him to be in that movie either. But whatever, it's okay. Whatever. Um,
We don't want any more Fantastic Beasts movies. Just stop. Just stop. Now, Matt, my final question for you is what is the one thing you wish movies would stop doing?
ooh, okay. The thing that I wish movies would stop doing. Um, I think. Well, one annoying thing is that I feel like what's really interesting about a Richard Linklater movie, like like let's say what is it? I think it's like Everybody Wants Some. I think that's the name of it,
Mhm.
right? The college movie. Let's say that for example. Like nothing fantastical needs to happen, or people don't need to be talking about anything that's like life or death or weird for the conversations just be interesting on their own. I wish that people, I wish there was like a push towards people talking just regular, just talking like people. or even if people don't talk like that, because then sometimes like Richard Linklater movies, people talk in like these giant monologue things, and no one really talks like that, like in just day to day. Sometimes, so sometimes it feels kind of like movie talk. But then there definitely a difference between that and then any any other random movie where people sort of talk and it's like that doesn't make any sense. Like also, or I feel it. I feel when you're trying to spoon food feed me like information, then it's like people don't really talk. I feel cringy. I don't like cringe. I don't want cringe. That's what I want. I don't want
I
cringe. I
will.
want realism.
Two movies that I've watched in the past week are terrible with that. Infinite, that new Paramount Plus film with Mark Wahlberg from
Mm,
Anton Fuqua. The 90% of the dialogue's exposition.
mm,
And you're just like, my God, stop.
mm,
And then I watched this movie called Queen Bees, which is about like a bunch of old people at a senior's home. And like the first act of the movie, every conversation had really forced character info, like inserted into the conversation, where it's like, well, your husband's been dead for this many years and you've always wanted to do this. And it's just like, okay, I see what you're doing.
mm.
It sounds very awkward and stiff. So cut it with the exposition. And like, I love Everybody Wants Some. And that's really that, Dazed and Confused. I watched Slacker for the first time, his first film.
That's a weird movie. Like that also seems kind of like you're like walking in like a weird dream.
Yes.
You know, yeah. Because this is like random people in Texas, right?
Yeah. Lady gets run over within like 10 minutes of the movie starting. So Richard Linklater, and I know how much you love Linklater, like the Before trilogy, like that's how you write dialogue. Just let them go. Just let them go. But I definitely could appreciate that because cut the crap and cut the exposition.
Yeah, it's like just show me what's going on. And I'm not saying that's easy, but I am saying that I'm giving you 14 of my dollars. So yeah, try harder.
Try harder. Now, Matt, it's that time of the show where my guest gets to ask me a question.
Ooh.
So, what do you want to ask the Wasteland Reviewer?
So I want to ask the Wasteland Reviewer. Um, what do I want to ask you, Shane? Shane. Hmm. Is that movie related? Very interesting. Okay.
What will Matt ask?
What will Matt ask? I want it to be want to be something very silly. I want to be actually. I'm not going to go silly. Actually, I am kind of curious this question, regardless. So it's just funny that you're just gonna just so happen to have your answer recorded. Um, so it is June, Shane. You
Yes.
have a large chunk of time before the ball drops, and then boom, it's next year. Um, when are you going to sit back down with these screenplays that you used to write? When are you going to give time to those? Because it's been a while since we've talked about that, Wasteland Reviewer. When are you going to open up Google Docs and be like, "Hey, I remember you"? Yeah,
It's been a
that's my
while.
question. That's
It
my
has
question.
certainly been a while. And I feel like I would have to go back and because I'm in the middle of a script. I would have to go back and reread it to even figure out where, because like I have a tendency to try to write in a lot of threaded details. And I'm like,
Nice.
gotta remember them.
Mm,
Like there's one particular one that I'm really proud of that spans from a whole film series. There's a plant in the first Dukes movie that comes back in a
mm,
very pivotal moment at the end. And I don't, I have to, I just, I've been doing this, the other writing, doing like writing reviews for 3 different websites and stuff like that, but like it's probably be nice to get back to actually writing my screenplays and maybe actually finishing Ain't It Fun?
The reason why I was thinking about, because I was listening, I was randomly listening to, I was doing paperwork and I was listening to random songs, and on YouTube, like that, I get auto played. Excuse me, ain't it fun? And I was like, ain't it fun? Ain't it fun? Ain't it fun? It's not just a Paramore song. What is it? What is that? Shane's screenplay. Which I remember saying, Shane, I want you to just send me. I want to finish that movie. I want that movie. You're like, no, it's mine. I like the premise
Well,
a lot,
mine
actually.
that one's very personal to me, Matt. So it's kind of like maybe
Yeah, I
that's why
know.
I'm having so much problems finishing it.
I just like the premise a lot of that one.
Hey, you have one yourself, so
Very true. Very true. Yeah, Shane, you have to like, you have to start talking to these distributors, and you have to start talking to agents now. Now it's time. It's time. Get one of
go
these
try to
people
go try to sell the Dukes trilogy,
and Father
quad
Material.
quadrilogy. It's 4
Oh
movies.
yeah, the four people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah,
it's
because it's the brothers, then it's one brother, second brother's story, and then yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
we got the Dukes, Righteous Rick, Dangerous Danny, and the Dog Days of the Dukes.
Mm.
There we go.
Yeah, 6 months left, Shane. You got this.
I have to finish Ain't It Fun, and then I have to figure out what the hell I write next. Um, all the rest of them, like these 4, I actually knew where the movies were going, like 100%, like scene to scene. Some of the other ones are more ideas, and like I'll daydream about them sometimes and like run through them in my head. Like I keep seeing this one scene over and over again because I keep hearing songs. I'm like, that would be perfect for this scene. And it's in it would be called Hollywood Police Farce. And like it's about a celebrity cop in LA who's trying to take down this like new bike like biker who's a bank robber, and he's basically taunting him, and there's much more to the story than just this being some like straightforward like cop movie, because like there's so much to commentate on when it comes to the police, and it would definitely not shy away from those things.
Excellent.
And maybe this particular person isn't just robbing banks for the sake of robbing banks.
Boom. Oh, so what you're saying is you want Twitter to be angry at you. That's what you're saying. You should look up I think it's Jeff John Mangold, so whatever Mangold guy, the Girl Interrupted Logan guy. So
Yeah,
apparently
James Mangold.
James, there we go. He's apparently, I think he's going to be directing the new uh Indiana Jones movie.
He's doing it presently.
But like people on Twitter have been making comments about how they feel that it's going to be bad. And recently, I guess he must have gotten tagged or something, and he flipped out on Twitter. Like anyone that's watching this video, to look up what James Mangold would, and you should write that. You should look that up too. All you people are making comments about my movie from your basements. How dare you say? Yeah, it's wild.
It's like Russell Crowe being taunted into coming at people about Master and Commander.
Which came out what, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
Matt, that came out in 2003. It's 18 years ago.
Wild.
You don't mess with Russell Crowe on Twitter. I actually enjoy his Twitter. He puts some nice things on there. But anyway, so I will make it a goal to finish at least Ain't It Fun by the end of this year.
Oh, okay. I just want you to get back to it. But okay, yeah, sure. And then then give me the rights to it. I'll Venmo you.
How much is my feelings and stories worth to you, Matt?
Yeah, exactly.
But that was a really good question. Obviously, a personal one, and now all of you got to hear about my internal thought process of, when you're driving to work or running, and you just think about these things, and then they turn into movies in your head, and you can see every frame.
Yeah, why fight with directors on Twitter who are probably old enough to be your grandmothers and grandfathers? Just write your own stuff.
I don't
Don't
think
hate
James
on other
Mangold's
people's
that old, but I guess technically you could be a grandparent.
I guess I don't know.
Like, I look like a grandmother, but do I have grandchildren? Got to reference Don John for the second time in this week, Matt.
Yeah. Actually, I should buy that too.
Yes, somewhere back there. If you haven't seen Don John, see it. But anyway, Matt, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming back on the show. Would you like to shamelessly plug anything one last time?
Let me see. Okay, so back to Bo Burnham, the album of that special that he put on Netflix. It is now on Spotify slash I guess other places. I'm trying to think of any other albums that. No, I can't think of anything. That's basically it. That's basically it. Just keep coming back. Keep coming back to Shane's to the Wastelands episodes, and then maybe
And
you might be featured as an interviewee.
yes, if you're interested in being interviewed and talking about your perspective on movies or wanting to come back if you've already been on once, let me know. Message me on Instagram or comment on this video. And also follow Matt on Instagram at First Floor Noise.
I'm really bad, just so you know, but I
If
hopefully
if Matt doesn't want to
charming, not
shamelessly plug
annoying.
himself, I will shamelessly plug for him. And you all should check out a brand new show that's going to be coming to my channel. My brother and I are starting a fandom and cosplaying show that we're going to have every 2 weeks. We haven't hammered out the name yet, but we're going to take a dive into a particular fandom and a particular anime each episode and talk about who we cosplay out of those fandoms and anime. So check out the first episode that's going to be coming out soon. It's going to be about Mortal Kombat and Dragon Ball Z.
Nice,
Yep.
nice.
Apparently I'm the Ox Man. That's who I should be cosplaying as.
Logan needs to come back, Shane.
Yes.
Logan needs to come back.
We're going to start the first episode by talking about some of our previous cosplays. And yes, Logan was one of mine at my first ever convention.
You still have the leather, you still have the leather jacket?
Of
Excellent.
course I do. That's a real leather jacket. I paid $250 for that.
Okay, yeah, please don't get rid of that.
Yes. Not going anywhere. But Matt, thank you so much. And thank all of you out there for always supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.